Okay, now we shall begin with our second keynote session. Our next speaker is the Honorable Prof. Datuk Dr. Ansari Ahmed, Founder President of ASEAN E-University. Prof. Datuk is currently the Group Managing Director of the ASEAN E-Learning Private Limited, a collaborative multinational university. He had served as a member of the Asian Association of Open University Executive Board. He was also one of the governing board member of the UNESCO International Institute for Information Technology in Education. Prof. Datuk was awarded the most promising entrepreneur by Enterprise Asia. He was also the first recipient of the National E-Learning Maestro Award. So without further ado, please welcome Prof. Datuk Dr. Ansari Ahmed to deliver his speech.
Terima kasih Penerusi Majlis. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Dan selamat pagi kepada semua. Yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Nik Mahiran bin Nik Muhammad, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International University Malaysia Kelantan, UMK. I don't see anybody else here. That's the only say. And seterusnya, it's good to see all of you, young people. I was just telling somebody else earlier. I feel old being here compared to you young people, so it's nice to be re-energized by all that energy that comes from you young people. Let me start by thanking Datuk Nick for inviting me to to share my thoughts or to have this conversation with you on adapting of a technology or disrupting technology in today's world, disrupting technology, and how do you go into into developing income. Just to share with you, just last week I was invited by my previous employer, Universiti Malaysia, and they wanted me to share with them some of the lessons learned of being an entrepreneur out there for the last almost 20 years now. So my short story to them was that business is not easy, it is difficult, and many of us are not trained to do business, and we have to learn. And when I went out into the business world, I made a lot of mistakes, because you go through those lessons that you have to learn. Some of them very bitter, some of them you make losses in terms of money, etc. kind of thing. But this is part and parcel of running a business. There are very sunny days. There can also be very rainy days. There can also be stormy days, and there can also be very dark days. So you must be resilient. Resilience is very important. I think that Azizi was also talking just now about resilience and perseverance. Yeah, perseverance and resilience is very important if you want to be successful in business. The second lesson I told them was very simple. Most of us who are academics, including me when I was at that time came out into the business world, we are not trained for business. We are trained to be experts in our own narrow fields of expertise, particularly we do PhD. I remember when a long time ago, because before some of you were also born, when I was doing my PhD, my professor then was saying that, so Ansari, you want to learn more and more of less and less. I didn't understand then. Later on, I realized that yes, how narrow my field was, kind of thing. So most of us are in a very narrow field. And as you enter business, now you have to broaden your your knowledge, skills, and expertise to cover many different spectrums. So anyway, I'm going to share some of my thoughts with you, and please feel free to share your thinking as well. So let me see if I can get this going. Which is the one? Is it working? I'm not getting it to work. There's no light as well. Battery working? So I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts, and many of this has been shaped over the last 5-6 years as I move globally. I move a lot globally. I'm involved with a few global organizations, and one of the most important ones I'm involved with is UNESCO. And we talk about IT and IT impact, etc., and all that kind of thing. I think you skipped a few slides, kind of thing. So can I just, yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah. I thought I would share this. Sorry. Is it working now? All right, good. This is from EY. I don't know whether you came across this. Ernst and Young gave out this report early this year. I wonder whether you saw this report about the future of university. And they were talking about, questioning about whether traditional universities, the way they've been doing business traditionally, the business of higher education traditionally, whether they would survive in the next 20 years or so. And they were talking about the S-curve, talking that where we are in terms of S-curve. We're all very comfortable. Some of us universities are also quite in a hubris state. In others, we feel that we have achieved whatever we already achieved, need to be achieved kind of thing. So it's talking about how to get out of the what they call of this S-curve, because they're saying that in terms of history, as you know, the oldest university in the world is almost about 4,000 years old. Yeah. But if you compare that university with our university today, there's not much difference. The way we have our classrooms and this auditorium hall, etc., kind of thing, despite the fact that technology is interrupting everything else. So they say that technology is going to interrupt how universities do business as well. So they talked about S-curve and how to get out of the S-curve, and they gave three what they call three thoughts, or rather four thoughts about it. Be clear about your long-term purpose, and here the long-term purpose is not talking about the next 500 years or 100 years kind of thing. In those next 10 years, where are you going to be? And just now, when Dr. Azizi was talking about, I think he was lamenting about, and I'm sure you all share the same what called laments, about the constraints in which that you have to work under, and yet the pressures you're put under in order to generate income. Yeah. Last week when I was in UM, the dean was telling me that that today they're generating X sum, X million, and the VC has given them a new target for 2024 of three times X. All right. So if we talk about 300% increase in income generation you want to do in 1 year, not many businesses can do that. Let's be realistic whether it can be done or cannot be done, kind of thing. So anyway, be clear about your long-term purpose. So that's very important. Think future back to get your reinvention agenda, because I think I was telling them that I was sharing my thoughts with them that you have to reimagine how you do your business of education. If you don't reimagine it, because now the KPT is asking you to reimagine how you're going to generate, say, 30% of income of your expenditure. Let's say you have to spend 100 million, so 30 million, or they only give you 70 million, 30 million you have to generate yourself. So how are you going to get that income? So you have to reimagine. If you do the way the business has been done before, I always tell my staff, if you do this year what you were doing last year, we are not going to be successful. If you do next year what you're doing this year and successful, you're not going to be good as well, because the environment is changing so fast, and every year you have to be innovative. You have to try new things. You got to be daring. You got to be courageous to try new things. That is the business world. It's challenging every day. Every day you have to think about what's new that I can do. And Steve Jobs talks about it all the time. He talks about, are you identifying the dots? Are you connecting the dots? Are you looking at how can you provide a new service or new product that people really want? Because that's what business is all about. Business is about transaction, because those who have and those who don't have, and you're prepared to pay money to have what I have. That's what it is. So universities have knowledge, and you're transmitters of knowledge. You are a gedong of knowledge kind of thing. This is what you have. And people want that. So how do you transact in that transaction? The other one, I think, very important, what Ernst and Wan was saying was about build new value with new capabilities. And I think that also mentioned just now, the earlier session, that, you need new skills. And this is what I told them as well, last week. That unfortunately, all of us are trained to be experts in our respective fields. And we are not trained to be businessmen or businesswomen. We're not trained to be entrepreneurs. We're not trained to be innovators in the business world, And yet, the government is telling us that, oh, you have to go and earn money. That's a tough call. If you ask me, that's a tough call. The way the university is structured, the way it's governed, etc., kind of thing, doesn't allow you to be successful in the business world. I'm telling you frankly, it will not allow you to be successful in the business world. You can just have a little success, but not great success, because the way you've been structured and governed, etc., kind of thing. So you have to reimagine how you want to work yourself through, worm yourself through with all the rules and regulations. You have to worm yourself through, slither through in order to get out there into the business world and make some money. If you talk about commercialization, everybody talks about commercialization, all right? Now, the time you can, from your ideation to the time it's market ready, it may take a few years. And market ready doesn't mean that you can get market penetration, because your product may be market ready, and then you want to penetrate the market, you got to know marketing channels. All right, how to market to the day. You have to know what the consumer wants. Many of us who pretend to be what they call entrepreneurs in the university, sometimes we have products which the market doesn't want. Market says that I don't want this product. So you have to work backwards, from the market backwards, not from inside out, but outside in. What does the market want? And then do your research according to deliver to what the market wants. Because if you go out there and say that this is what you need, this is what we have, this is what you want, it may not be what they want. The only person who successful done that, was Steve Jobs. When he came out with what he called the Mac, the first Mac when he came out with, everybody was talking at that time was what? Mainstream. When I went to study, we were using what mainstream computers, right? Huge ones. You have to use what they call the computing cards, punch cards. You have to punch your computers. This before all of you were born. You have to go to the computer center in order to do any programming. You have to learn programming language. You have to learn Fortran, Algol. You have to learn C+. You have to learn what they call basic kind of thing in order for us to program. And Steve Jobs felt that this is the wrong way to go about it. So he dropped out of class and said, let me do something which is small, which is something portable. So he came out with the Macintosh. And the Macintosh challenged what they call the mainstream, the IBMs of the world kind of thing. And then, of course, we had, the Me Too products that came on later on, etc. kind of thing. And then he thinks out of the box again. He says that, I think we need to look at, how can you make it even smaller and more portable? So he comes up with a phone. And in the phone, he says, what are the people, he looks at the environment. What do people like to listen to? Because everybody is going around with the Walkman, right? At that time, the Sony Walkman was the most popular, what they call device that people have and listen to music kind of thing. Say, why can't I put the music into the phone? Then they can have the music in the phone. Today, your phone is more powerful than the computer that I was using, mainframe, in Manchester when I was studying. You can do so many things. But that's how you think out of the box, make the connection of what the consumer needs, and then providing the product that is required. Elon Musk is doing it today after Steve Jobs. Elon Musk is now doing that today. So let's move on. So they talk about how to invest in 3 time zones. Yeah, talking about horizon now, horizon next, horizon beyond, and how you plan now. So this is how you have to plan yourself. When you talk about horizon now, you're talking about now. What can you do? You're planning immediately for 2004, 2005 academic year. Let's say this is what you need to do, and then moving forward, etc. kind of thing. I'm not going to go into details, otherwise I won't have time. But basically, you're looking at how can you leverage on technology. This talk is about technology. How can you leverage on technology in order to improve your product and services for the market? That's what basically it is. So let me continue. Now, this is what we're talking about, all right? When you talk about technology here, and you talk about what I'm trying to, present, have this conversation with you, you're expected to do all this hala 7, 10 lonjakan, all right? And if you look at it, number 1, number 5, number 7, and number 10 is what I'm going to talk about, basically. All right, so at least what I'm going to present is something linked to what the lonjakan is all about. There's some relevance. Excuse me if you cannot see that connection, because I've left the IPTA world 20 years ago, a long time ago. So I'm talking from a man who have been there, done that, and now I'm outside, looking inwards into the IPTA environment kind of thing. So I'm going to talk about why you have to embrace technology itself and why it's important for universities, and how to embrace entrepreneurship and innovation. I think that Noah has covered, Azizi has covered quite a lot of in terms of, I'm not going to cover too much on that. I'm going to go more on specific examples to increase revenues. I think this is what you're interested in, specific examples to increase revenues. And I'm going to talk a little bit about AI, because I think the impact of AI right now is going to be very, what you call immersive, is going to be very ubiquitous. Yeah, everything is going to be AI, what they call disrupted, whether you like it or not. Even the teaching and learning is going to be disrupted in terms of AI. There's a nice saying that if you cannot do better than the AI is going to replace you. That's for sure. All right, so that's something that you have to think about. All right, then the concept of entrepreneurial university, because this is why I think you have to reimagine yourself to be an entrepreneurial university. I think UMK claims to be an entrepreneurial university, that they have some milestones of proving that they are on the path to becoming a truly entrepreneurial university. Then how do they develop the ecosystem to become an entrepreneurial university? Unfortunately, I think those of you who are in the RUs, you are not so much in that kind of ecosystem. You're more research intensive university. So your look and feel and the way that you approach the market will be slightly different from those who say that I'm more entrepreneurial, I'm looking at things differently. It's something for you to ask yourself, cermin diri and tanyakan sendiri macam mana nak lakukannya, nak bangunkan ekosistemnya untuk kita berjaya dalam medan business di luar situ. Then finally, I'm going to spend a little time on talking about how you yourself personally can develop your own business leadership, and this is something that that I think is worth sharing because it's the lessons that I learned during my journey in it. We now talk about the business education, and UNESCO came out with this pathways to 2050 and beyond. You look at it. If you look at this, you can see that you're talking of various what they call pillars that we're talking about. And one of the key pillars is being student-centric. I think that's very important. Talking about SDG 4, higher education. Here we're talking higher education for all. That's very important. I think what is important for what they call to become an entrepreneurial university is the next two, which is organization and knowledge. How you organize yourself, how you develop the ecosystem, etc. kind of thing, and what kind of knowledge that you're bringing that is required in the business world out there, that kind of thing. And the next one is of course being connected. I think in business world, networking is extremely important. No successful businessman has done it on his own. Every successful businessman or woman has been successful because of the network that they have, the friends that they have in business who help them to make connections and help them to grow. I remember a friend of mine who was arwah sekarang, who told me that, Ansari, when you make your first million, do not forget the people who help you to make the first million. Because you cannot make your first million on your own. That's because the people who help you, hold hands and help you, open doors for you, helped you to make your first million. When you make your first million, share that million with all those people who helped you. Because if you don't, if you keep it to yourself, nobody will come and help you to make the next 10 million. Betul tak? But if you do help them, you do share your 1 million with them, they will help you to make 100 million. Because they kata, I don't mind helping him or her because she knows how to reward me when he or her is successful. So remember that. It's a lesson for all you to learn. Never be selfish. Always, a true entrepreneur is one who acknowledges the help that he gets from other people as well and reward them. Entrepreneurship is not about you enriching yourself. That's a basic lesson you learn in Babson College, one of the number one business college in the world, entrepreneurship college in the world. That's why you see Americans, every one of them will help back the society. That culture, that budaya is not in kita punya Asian punya budaya, tak banyak sangat. Because we think that nak perkayakan sendiri saja, peribadi saja, tak fikir orang lain. Cemburu dengan orang lain, but they don't have that, They say that, the only way we can be successful is by networking, others helping us to get there. So how do we now share that cake? How do you give back some of it, some of the barakah? How do you share that barakah with the others? You share the barakah, you will get more. Allah akan bagikan lebih banyak. So bersyukur dan sharing with others dan sebagainya. So remember that in terms of the business of higher education itself. So reimagine your university, reimagine the business, how you do it, reimagine how you want to do rewards. Because your present reward system doesn't recognize that and allow that to happen, kind of thing. So I'm going to tell you why is it important. Let me just show this slide first. Why embracing technology disruption is important itself. So these are the things I'm going to go to every single one and explain. Basically, we live in a global competitive world right now. Whether you like it or not, there are competitors at our very doorstep, right? Whether we like it or not. Suka tak suka. We cannot close our skies. We cannot close our borders. We cannot shut down the internet that people cannot reach our clients, right? And we are talking here providing a business to the industry. They can get it from anywhere in the world. So what makes it important for them to get it from UMK and not from XYZ outside? So you have to think about it. That's global competition. So in other words, we now live in a global competitive world and we have to think global. We cannot think local. We cannot think, saya ni bertapak di Pahang, saya buat bisnes di Pahang sahaja. Whether suka tak suka, orang luar daripada Pahang pun akan masuk juga. Cari rezeki di Pahang. Yeah? Okay, so that's life. Okay, that's satu. Number two, talk about enhanced learning experience. This is very, very, very important because I think education technology and there's so many tools now, education technology, how do you enhance? Now I'm talking here in terms of your personal self. How do you enhance your own personal learning using technology? A lot of businessmen today actually do self-learning because YouTube. YouTube is the most powerful what they call learning channel right now. I'm interested since MCO, I became a cook. And most of my cooking, I study in YouTube. All right, how to do whatever I want, whatever I feel like doing, I go to YouTube, I get it, etc. I do that. My gardening, I go to YouTube to do how to do my gardening, etc. kind of thing. But YouTube is something that I also learn in terms of, if you want to do Excel docs, you want to do something like that, you go to YouTube, you learn how to do advanced Excel, etc. and all that kind of thing. So YouTube is a very powerful what they call a channel. But now there are much more powerful what they call tools coming out, which is the AI tools. And I am a lover of AI tools, kind of thing. Not just ChatGPT, but more than that. There's so many other tools out there that you can use, kind of thing. Universities are good in research and innovation, all right? But much of the research and innovation universities, forgive me and correct me if I'm wrong, is very much university-driven and investigator-driven, the researcher-driven, what they call research and innovation. It is not from market driving the innovation. So only way the market can drive the innovation is that you must have links. I mean, we've been talking about this when I was a young lecturer 40 years ago. We were talking about this, the importance of the triple helix, the importance of, having industry university linkages kind of thing. But is it still happening? The cakap berbuih-buih dah, I think it's still not happening, betul-betul not happening. But you need to have the interface between industry and university. That communication must go on. But not all professors can do it. And this is what I was telling Universiti Malaysia. I said, you must have people who understand the market and market needs, and also understand what the university can do and what university cannot do. Because not everybody, you cannot match it all the time. So you have to look at how. Okay. And sometimes one university cannot do everything. So you have to learn to network and work with other universities as well. Be it private, be it what you call public, be it in Malaysia or outside Malaysia. Because the product requires that kind of expertise, in order to fulfill what called the market needs. Kalau kita tak ada semua kepakaran in-house. So you must learn how to network and have a research team, a technology team, in order to deliver that kind of product. Operational efficiency is very important. And this is where we find the dichotomy between what the government wants and what your vice chancellors want and your top management wants and what you can do and how you can deliver. Because young people will have to publish, will have to do research and publish kalau tak dapat promotion. Here we're talking about income generation, nothing to do with publication. Right? So which one you want to do? If you generate 10 million, you generate 20 million, will you get a professorship? I was on the professorial board at Universiti Malaysia dulu. We go on, what have you published? Are you an expert in your field? Do your peers regard you as an expert in the field? Have you added knowledge? How many PhDs have you produced? How many ISI linked publications have you got? That's what the parameters are. Of course, they ask you how much grant you bring. All right. So if you are very good and you bring some grants, fine. But grants is not commercialization. There's a difference between there. It's not income generation as well, kind of thing. So I think so it's very clear in terms of, let's say, you have to reimagine how you manage your university so they become more what they call in sync with what the business requirements needs are, kind of thing. Cost management goes without fail. A lot of people have interacted with in the IPTA actually do not understand the hidden costs. You understand direct costs, but you do not understand hidden costs. Even companies sometimes, for us, it's difficult to calculate all hidden costs. But if you want to do business, you must know total costs, direct and indirect, and even the hidden costs you must know. Otherwise, you may be charging a rate which is below what your cost is. So you rugi lah. Technically you rugi, tapi nampak ada duit masuk, tapi technically, accounting wise, financially, you rugi sebenarnya daripada apa yang buat, kind of thing. So I must be able to know your cost and manage your cost in order for you to competitive. Because as I said just now, it's global competition. Kalau you katakan this service I can provide to you is for 100K, maybe somebody come and undercut you, katakan 90K. Right? So you must know how far you can go down as well and still make a margin. Because I think margins in business, margins are very important. Yeah, your profit margin is very important. Agility in decision making. This is something which I think I'm not so sure whether you're empowered to make those decisions or not. I doubt it. In the private sector for us, for example, one man can make the decision. We don't need to go to committees. We don't need to go to 3, 4, 5 committees. We don't need to go to lembaga. My board gives me the authority to make, $1 million decisions. So I don't have to bother them anything above 1 million. Below 1 million, I can spend without any question, ask kind of thing. So I think, so this agility decision making is very important. I don't have to go to the board. You want to sign an MOA, I got to get, blah, blah. I say, I want to sign, I want to do this contractual obligation. I want to sign. I say, you don't need all this, right? So, so you must have an engine. You must have a vehicle, an SPV, a special purpose vehicle for this purpose. All right? Because if you have the special purpose vehicle SPV, then this SPV is now empowered to make all those decisions and don't have to refer back to the university. Also important to have the SPV, because in case there is a legal issue, they sue the SPV and not you and the university. So university name and you are protected. So when you provide this kind of consulting, this kind of service, this kind of thing, this kind of product, because don't forget, when you are in the business world and you provide a service and you provide a product, you are open to legal, what they call action, if it is substandard and not up to the contractual obligation you went into. That's the reality of it. So if you go in there, so you must make sure that you are protected individually, as well as the university, because university sekali bad name dapat, susah lah untuk university nak recover kind of thing. Then we talk about strategic positioning and strategic networking. These are all very important, and getting all the key stakeholders on board is extremely important. Okay, what is also need to culture of entrepreneurship innovation? I think what they call Dr. Azizi has covered quite a lot of this. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but basically these are the things that you talk about: adaptability, industry relevant, commercialization, economic impact, being an innovation hub, startup incubation, lifelong learning. Today, everybody is into lifelong learning atau PSH, pembelajaran sepanjang hayat. Yeah, it's very important. None of us can stop learning. The moment we stop learning, our knowledge is already outdated. Every day you have to learn. Every day you got to read. So Aziz is talking about, how many books you have to read. If you're lazy to read, then listen. Listen to podcasts. Listen to whatever you need to do. If you don't, whatever free time you're traveling. While you're traveling, listen, read, etc. kind of thing. Because now the phone, you can put everything into your phone and do whatever you need to do. So while you're mobile, you can do it. While I'm cooking, I'm also listening at the same time. So I don't waste my time, kind of thing. And this is something very important, because we all should be lifelong learners. And you're talking of being a businessman, you cannot stop learning, because the business environment is changing every day. I do global business, all right? And I do global business in many countries. I got to keep in touch with the political situation in those countries as well. I have big business in contohnya in one country, all right? And there was a big problem in the country, and the country went almost bankrupt. My business will fail if I'm not following what's happening to the country, and I don't prepare myself, and I expect that income to come in. It's not going to come in because I know it's going through that problem. You faham tak? So you have to anticipate. So if you do global business, you also got to know which markets you're operating in, what's happening there politically, economically, socially, what's happening there. So kena belajar juga, kena tahu juga. Kalau tidak, you're working in vacuum. All right? So this is something that you need to keep in touch and always understand. Okay, suggest in using technology to increase revenue. I'm just going to give you some examples. Yeah, learning spaces. All of you are endowed with learning spaces, right? You have big campuses, beautiful campuses compared to private universities like us. You have plenty of space. How do you make use of space? Because kita the private sector, we talk about return on asset. So this is a physical asset that you have. What's your return on asset? So if you don't have a return on asset, then you are not utilizing your space. How do you utilize your space? I'll give you later examples of how to utilize the space itself. But space utilization is very, very important. Whether it's a laboratory, whether it's a lecture room, whether it's a seminar room, whether it's offices. I can tell you one big university, one private university, because, I am very close with them as well. And she was telling me, the head of facility was telling me that, we're asking our lecturers to move out from the lecture rooms because we want to use lecture rooms as lecture rooms from the office to convert it into lecture rooms. The business is so good that they're converting the offices into lecture rooms. Utilization of space. Dia kata tak apa, kita semua hot seat saja. We don't have a permanent what they call room. We just have seats, So she is what they call executive director level. And I met her in the cafe. Not in a room. She said, I don't have a room because I have to give up my room, for the purpose of teaching and learning. How many of us are prepared to give up our room? Ask ourselves. Kadang-kadang kita kata, oh itu, saya punya hak. Saya perlu size bilik besar ni dan sebagainya. So the change of mindset, very, very, very important. Hybrid learning centers. Again, utilizing a space. You got a lot of technology. You have good IT departments. You have good IT professors and lecturers kind of thing. And you have good knowledge providers kind of thing. How do you do it hybrid now? Some of it online, some of it offline. Okay, so how to go to hybrid? AI is very, very important. How to use AI tools? Extremely important. Some universities are doing learning commons. All right. So you can share learning commons with the private sector. You can share with what you call it industry. You can share with the companies. This particular university I'm talking to is based in Subang Jaya. Their space is utilized by Singapore companies for the meetings because they have good network with Singapore companies. So when Singapore companies come to Malaysia about interview, about meeting dan sebagainya, they use the university space for the meeting. Etc. kind of thing. So why can't we think of these kind of things? Just think out of the box because, a company overseas wants to have a meeting here in Malaysia, you offer lah your tempat. Just like Airbnb lah. Alright, Airbnb kita fikir nak pergi tidur saja kan, tapi dia bagi Airbnb dari segi meeting spaces dan sebagainya. Alright, so this is how you can have learning commons where they can come, run training program, etc. and all that kind of thing. So I'm not going to talk about IoT for campus management. It's all basic lah kan, how to improve. So again, these are all what you call things that you can do. I don't have time to go through every single one. But look at all this because all these possibilities are there for you to leverage on. Is how creative you are in leveraging on all these possibilities and creating money out of it, monetizing it. Basically, you have assets to monetize. Yeah? How do you monetize the asset? I was telling my colleagues, what they call my former university, you have to sweat your assets. If you don't sweat your assets, you are basically underperforming. Yeah, you must sweat your assets. If you don't sweat your assets, you're underperforming. In private sector, kita perah sebanyak mana yang kita boleh from our assets. And your assets could be human resource, could be physical, could be intellectual property, could be what they call technology. Whatever is your asset, you take as asset. How do you sweat your asset and how you get the best return on your asset? Because there's an ROI on that asset. All right, so we have an ROA, return on asset. That's one of the indicators. So they will question you on whether you're improving on your return on asset or not. Kalau tahun ni pun dia dapat 10 juta, tahun depan pun 10 juta on your asset, tak ada apa lah. I sit in a major council in my state where I come from, Perak, and I ask this question. Tahun sudah pun 10 juta, tahun hadapan pun nak 10 juta juga. You're not sweating your assets. Asset punya banyak. So you have to get an asset manager to sweat on the assets. Nak harapkan kita buat asset sweating, tak boleh. You have to get a specialist to how to sweat your assets. Faham tak? Certain examples on how people combine technology, disruption, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I'm just going to give you a few names and a few examples of that. I think everybody have heard of Agawal, kan? You know edX, Agawal, etc. kind of thing. He, of course, tied up with, he came into edX, etc. kind of thing. He did a lot of work kind of thing. And then, he, of course, he has now become, evangelical in terms of what he call university and how can university make money out of just selling short courses, micro-credentials. That's all. Nothing else. edX, nothing else. But it's worth 60B, kind of thing. Tan Eng Chai, National University of Singapore. So, he came in and he changed a lot of things as well. But he changed it how? By increasing collaboration. I was talking just now earlier about networking, increasing collaboration, global collaboration right throughout. And then what he did was, because Singapore always believes in being a top, what they call destination for elite, what they call universities, right? So that's how they go, because they want the world best universities there. So that's what he did. Linkages to the world best universities, coming out unity programs, etc. So they become a hub in this part of the world to provide those kind of points. That's why he's tied up with INSEAD, tied up with Columbia, tied up with MIT, Harvard, etc. And all that kind of thing. University of Tokyo, this is an interesting one. He came in and he decided that, he wants to, first, number one, work on global ranking. But if you remember University of Tokyo, it was one of the first universities in the world to withdraw from the ranking, historically. Ingat tak? Maybe some of you too young for that. When ranking first started, was started by Asia Week, a magazine which you all mungkin tak pernah dengar. Asia Week started this ranking business in Asia. And it started the first year, the second year. The third year, University of Tokyo withdrew. They kata this whole ranking system is rubbish. We're going to withdraw. But when he came in, he decided that we want to get into the global ranking, to get back into there, because he felt that, he need that network and collaboration in order for University of Tokyo to come up. Because they actually fell back kind of thing. IIT, I think everybody knows about IIT and how they are moving forward in terms of how they're using the assets, particularly the intellectual assets, and how they want to get out there. And they're very much, involved in technology, as you know, how do you focus on technology. Tsinghua is now, as you know, one of the top universities in what they call in China. And they have gone to strengthen their global reputation as well, working with top universities in the world. And you go for the Tsinghua and what they call, I think Tsinghua, Harvard, what they call executive MBA, it costs 250,000 ringgit. Sorry, $250,000, the program. Can you imagine get 10 people, 2.5 million already? It's a lot of money. So how can you make your program become executive exclusive that you could go to that level? Yeah, that's what he's been doing. All right, few more examples. Michael Crow. Michael Crow is Arizona State University, and he has made ASU the most creative and innovative university in the States for the last 5 years. And you know what he did? He spent 500 billion US to go digital. So he's one of the university in the world with the biggest repository of online material right now. And his move is what he call his enrollment, 60,000 in campus, 300,000 online. That's where he makes his money. And his bachelor's program is not cheap, 200,000 USD. That's what he charges. All right. Getting that what they call brand or being the most creative and innovative university in the US. And you go to his campus and you look at the innovation lab that they have there. It's world class and very futuristic. Something for you to look at. Stanford, as you all know, Stanford has been, pivotal as far as what they call the technology has been concerned, their park, etc., and all that kind of thing, and how they have been very. I went and visited Stanford a long time ago, and I went to SRI, one of the research arms as well, and they talk about, about how they what they call they develop entrepreneurs kind of thing. They actually have a ecosystem in which they work together with the university. All right, when a university is ready for what they call coming to the market, they have what they call entrepreneur, what they call in residence. They call it entrepreneur in residence. All right. For entrepreneur in residence, so in other words, they take you out from the university and put you into SRI to become entrepreneur in residence. And they have a mentor from outside who's been successful entrepreneur now to mentor the entrepreneur in residence. Then they bring the product to the market. The entrepreneur in residence now goes back to the university to go and start innovating some more kind of thing. It's taken over now by another CEO who's an expert in startups. So you take a startup for the next 2 or 3 years kind of thing. Then he will resign and now they bring another CEO who's expert in expanding the market from a startup. See, at every stage of the development of the life cycle of the company, they have experts leading it. Faham tak? Setiap satu fasa tu, dia ada kepakaran yang tertentu yang kita perlukan. Startup fasa lain. Expansion fasa lain. Growth fasa nak pergi IPO, they have an entrepreneur for IPO, siap for IPO. Post IPO, another person. Faham tak? So they have this value chain. And they develop about 30 to 40 what they call companies, startup companies every year. Because they have a pipeline coming through. Tapi they develop the ecosystem to do that. Ask ourselves, do we have such kind of ecosystem kat Malaysia? We talk a lot about this, tapi adakah benda-benda macam ni yang berlaku? Adakah pakar-pakar macam ni yang sanggup daripada berjaya di industri, sanggup balik kepada universiti menjadi entrepreneur in residence in order to develop the next body of entrepreneurs? Faham tak? This is how they develop their ecosystem, such a kind of thing. I'm not going to go through Houston and Rice. You can have. I think here's the slide that you can share later on the details because time is of essence, kind of thing. I want to have a special time on AI and digital transformation. I think I need to have this slot to talk about AI because it's something I'm passionate about. I'm involved with it in UNESCO. I'm very much involved with the AI what you call business. And just to give you examples of 3 what you call universities who use AI very successfully as well. NUS and then KAIST. Everyone know KAIST kind of thing. And MIT as well in terms of what you call using AI kind of thing. I'm not going to go into details of them. And then there's Tsinghua, there's IIT, there's also University of Melbourne talking about Center for AI and Digital Ethics. Digital ethics, okay, this is an important area, yeah, when you talk about AI kind of thing. When you talk about data science, talk about AI, etc. Now, how does AI transform higher education? This is a topic which is very important. But UNESCO has this big, what you call, umbrella theme, digital transformation in education. All right, education is. So this is what it is, and this is specific for higher education. So if you look at it, all the what you call key domains. You're talking about teaching and learning. You're talking student success. You talk about secure and connected campus. You talk about academic research. At every one of those quadrants, triangles that you see here, there's an AI tool or several AI tools to do those kind of things. So when I say that, is your university going into this kind of things? Because if it goes into this kind of things, you're going to be a lot more futuristic. You're going to bring down costs. Yeah. And you can use your human resource to become more creative. You free up their time to become more creative, to do more innovation, to do more research, to do more commercialization, to more engagement with industry, more networking, etc., and all that kind of thing. So all those things, because you free up people from doing mundane work. That's the whole objective. Free up people from doing mundane, routine work. All right. So even teaching and learning, some aspect of it is quite mundane. Yeah. Contohnya, when I was a lecturer, I know I hate to mark scripts. You suka mark script? Saya tak suka mark script. I used to teach apa ni year 1, 850. Allahu script nak mark. 10 hari. I hated it. If only you can use AI to do that. And you can do AI to do that now. It's easy. You free up your time. So those kind of things. So I think this is something that you have to look at, and see and dig down and reimagine your campus now using such kind of tools so that you are free to do the more creative things, the more wealth creation. Because at the end of the day, you want to income generate. Income generate is what? Creating wealth. How do you become wealth creators and not consumers? There's a difference between a consumer and a producer. So you want to become a producer. Ya, kita dalam apa ni IPTA sekarang atau Universiti Awam sekarang, kita ni consumer. In the sense that we get a budget from the public purse. Ya, daripada dompet awam, kita dapat duit. So kita consumer, not producer. Jadi sekarang kerajaan kata, you boleh jadi consumer 70%, 30% you kena produce. This is where the challenge comes. That's why I'm invited to come and share my what you call my thoughts with you. So some of the things that are happening in terms of campus, these are some things that AI is being utilized in terms of campus. AI incubators and accelerators. I just heard in the last budget, they're established in UTM, kan, the AI center in UTM. One university AI center? Every university should have an AI center, digital center. So what is your leadership doing about it? Whether small or big, at least you must have an initiative of having this, starting up this AI center, so that everybody becomes an expert in AI. This is very, very, very important. Yeah, data-informed decision making, because at the end of the day, when you want to go out to the industry, when you want to engage the industry, you have to make informed decisions, and it has to be data-driven, right? Dr. Azizi was talking about data as well. Data-driven. How do you get data? Use the AI tools in order to get the data, to crunch the data, to give you what you want, kind of thing. Otherwise, you are going to spend hours and hours just trying to get data. Kemudian nak analyze the data. Kemudian nak massage the data. Let the tool do it. Let the AI do it. You can do it in 3-4 minutes, crunching, etc. I hari tu just not try, because somebody told me, have you tried? I said, I didn't try yet. So I took my Excel doc. I campak dalam BAT. I campak dalam apa ni GPT. Excel, the entire Excel raw doc, I just campak dalam tu. Then I started asking the bot to do some manipulations on certain fields in the in the Excel doc. And he does it in seconds. I don't have to do it anymore. I said, wow, this is good. Then I said, okay, what if kind of thing. He does all the changes for me. It's just a matter of using the tool. That's all, and you young people should be able to do it better than me, kind of thing. Gen AI. I think now we're talking a lot about Gen AI, right? That's the beauty of Gen AI. Large language models, which are now having conversations with us, etc., and all that kind of thing. I'm going to go down to the industry collaboration, and AI-based solutions. I think this is something that we need to look at, because Malaysia is trapped in the middle income trap. And much, Nick will confirm with me, much of our business actually are SMEs. 90% of the companies are actually SMEs. Only 2% yang large companies ataupun, GIC dan sebagainya. 98%. 98% employs something like 60%, 65% of the workforce in Malaysia. So the backbone of the economy of this country is 98%. And we are stuck there. We are stuck. We are not moving out. Sebab tu selama 15-20 tahun sekarang, we are not moved out from the middle income track. We've been trapped there. How do you use AI to get them out from that middle income track? The tools for AI, for them to predict, because you can use AI for predictive analytics, right? You can do descriptive, you can do prescriptive, you can do predictive dan sebagainya kan. So how do you use it to help the SMEs to grow? I have a product. I had a what you call a request from a nearby country, who wanted me to establish a digital arm for the university. Because we've been in the digital business for the last 16 years or so. So they just want to get into the digital learning. So they went around the world, they came back to me and said that, I think you have got the most cost-effective digital, model that you would like to follow in my country. So I had the platforms, I had everything, but I didn't know how to price it in that country. Pricing in that country. I know what the pricing would be if I go to another country, but that particular country, I've not done it. So I went and asked my AI virtual assistant how to price it. It took me 10 questions because the AI tool very clever juga. They will not give a straight answer. Because they give a generic answer kan, generic answer. It took me 10 questions to get a specific answer. What is the range in which people charge for this kind of digital learning platform? I got it. Then I gave that to to the potential client, and I gave a comparison of the competitors and how competitive we are in terms of that. Alhamdulillah, we got the job. We start next year on that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you can use this tool for a lot of your income generation by asking it, curing it, asking to do things for you in order for you to prepare your proposal or your activity, whatever kind of thing, for the marketplace. Very, very important how you can use it. All right. Machine learning is something that I'm interested in, but I'm not going to go into it. Okay, now in terms of Gen AI itself, generative AI itself, there are two publications that came out from UNESCO. Since I'm on the UNESCO board, I thought I must share this with you. One is technology in education, a tool for whose terms. All right, because the thinking is always that technology should not drive pedagogy, but pedagogy should drive technology. All right. Unfortunately, today we're seeing a lot of people, they're adopting technology to drive their pedagogy, not the other way around. All right. And when you talk about this first report, technology in education, it covers all school, K-12, as well as post-secondary, meaning university, etc. kind of thing. In the case of guidance for generative AI in education and research, again, you can use AI for your research. What kind of research you want to do? So you can do market intelligence for you, so that you can get those ideas for you to prepare the right kind of products, right kind of service for the marketplace. And how do you use AI ethically? Very important. How do you use AI ethically? So refer to this too. They're online. You can get it, download it. You can use it, kind of thing. But basically, Gen AI, you can use it now in terms of content creation. Many universities are now thinking that former KP is now my board member. So he's saying that we are telling all the IPTs to also go into ODL. But you don't know how to do it. All right. AI can prepare your content for you. If you know how to instruct AI, it can prepare some of the content for you. So use AI to prepare content, preparing the personal journey that they need to take. Language translation. Mungkin your material is in bahasa, and you have to convert it to English, to become global. Boleh. Now convert to Mandarin, you have to eyeing the Chinese market, convert to Mandarin. You have to convert to Indonesia, convert to bahasa Indonesia, eyeing the Indonesian market dan sebagainya. Use AI to do it. All right. But you must know which AI tool to use, because it is still learning as well. Because machine learning, and you kena gunakan manusia balik nak murnikan. To murnikan, you're going to still bring an expert in the language nak murnikan dia punya bahasa dan representation kind of thing. I mentioned just now about grading kan tadi, marking scripts. You can use it for marking scripts. You can teach it how to mark your particular subject scripts. Virtual teaching assistant, this is superb. You come and give the lecture, because most of us are still in lecture format. We come and give the lecture, and we said, after this, the VA will take over and, answer all your questions. And you have already trained the VA how to answer the questions that come out from your lecture. Senang saja, dia tak perlu you nak layan dia. The AI is there to layan, and you can go and do your research and do whatever other extra duty that you need to do, kind of thing. Diverse learners. I think if you're talking about now increasing your enrollment, so you have to have diverse learners. Learners who come from different parts of the world, different needs, etc. kind of thing. Maybe language issue is there. So need to be translated to Swahili katanya. They're coming to do a program in what you call in UMP, tapi dia tahu bahasa Swahili saja. So you kata, oh, my material bahasa Melayu. Ni tak AI translate to Swahili. Whatever kind of thing. I'm just being crude there. You can the virtual assistant will give quick feedbacks to your students. Tak perlu tunggu you. Because it's 24/7. It doesn't sleep. You need to sleep. You need to take a lunch break. You need to take a tea break. It doesn't sleep. You can just go on, kind of thing. And very important for research, what you call students, academic writing. But you must have a policy on academic writing. So you must have a university-wide policy saying that you can use AI for academic writing, but this is what is permitted, this is what is not permitted. Otherwise, you're going to plagiarism, blah, 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 and all that kind of thing. So this is what permitted, not permitted. How many of universities have got that AI policy? Yang keluar pada MK, general policy je, bukan detailed policy. So you must have an AI policy. But you guys are experts. So if you develop this policy and you can teach the virtual assistant to do this kind of things, you can provide that as a service to all the private colleges that don't have the expertise. They're struggling to do it. Yeah. Okay, there was a lot of talk about ecosystem in order for you to be entrepreneurial, in order for you to generate income and sebagainya. This is the ecosystem that that the British universities are using. It's a general ecosystem British universities are using, and you can see that they have got startups, they got what they call successful entrepreneurs networking. As Dr. Aziz is talking about, do you know entrepreneurs? So you must have that kind of networking as well. So you must have all those elements, and it's not something new. All right. We've been talking about this also, I'm sorry to say, for donkey's years kat Malaysia. And then ada banyak lompong. Sampai sekarang, you're not address the lompong. It's still there. So you're expected to generate income, but the ecosystem is not there. Tak sempurna. So you have to work in an environment which is not perfect. So this is where you have to be creative. How to wiggle your way through, even though tak ada systemnya, how do you wiggle your way through and make that money and make that income generation that you need to make, kind of thing. I'm not going to go detail, I don't have time to go into it, but you can have a look at this, study it. If you want more information, I can give you more information later. Okay, now on the personal side, there's a lot of material on business leadership. Not leadership, but business. A lot of material on business leadership. What kind of characteristics you require in order to become business leader? So tepuk dada, cermin diri, tanyakan whether you have the characteristics to be a business leader. If you don't have, don't pretend to be. Because if you pretend to be, it's going to fail. Just be honest with yourself. Then you kata kat your bosses, actually need an expert in this area to do this. Don't expect me to do it. Because I'm not trained to do it. Unless you give me training to have all these characteristics, then I can go out and do it. So there must be some training element as well. All right. There must be some what they call assessment centers. There must be some incubators to incubate academics to become businessmen. And I can tell you the success rate is going to be very low, maybe 5%. At best, maybe 10%. So if you have a 2,000 academic workforce, if you can get 100 of them who can be entrepreneurs, wow, that is great. If you can get 100 of them to have that. But I don't think it's possible. So let's be realistic. So I told Universiti Malaya, be realistic. If you want to do this, get people who are experts in the field to do what they're expert in, and let your experts in their respective field do what they are best at. Then you are bringing the kekuatan tu, you campurkan kekuatan tu. Then you become better. Don't try to convert, an expert in economics to become a businessman. I got professors of business with me. Veterans, yang pernah kerja di USM, pernah kerja di UM, pernah kerja di UTM, and then kerja ke private sector, then join me as well. But if you ask them to run a business, they cannot run a business. I always tell a professor, you're only good at teaching, but not good at running a business. And there is, in America, they always say this what you call this statement, those who can't do business, teach. Honestly. I'm talking about professors in business. Textbook dia bagus. Nak bagi kata all the formula, all the what they call model, dia bagus. But business is not textbook because the environment is changing every day. Textbook tak cakap mengenai penipu. You boleh jumpa 10 orang, mungkin 3 orang penipu. Mungkin you ada business tapi dia tak bayar. You got the business tapi dia tak bayar. You faham tak? How do you now chase the person, the debt collector to collect it? Dan sebagainya. These things, they don't teach you. Alright, so you need to learn how to do the business. And I don't think everybody can. Some people are happy to learn. Some people kata, why should I learn this? Because I am an expert in my field. I'm an expert in what they call the history of Melaka. Why should I now suddenly learn how to do business? Nak jual Melaka punya products ke whatever kind of thing. Or nak jual history of Melaka dan sebagainya. Anyway, so these are the things that you need to ask yourself. And the university must empower leaders with business acumen. In other words, the university must identify among dia punya staff tu, siapa yang ada those characteristics yang boleh dididik untuk menjadi successful. Bukan semua orang, tapi yang terpilih saja. Then your chances of success is better. Right? Nurturing a culture of innovation in the university, not a culture of obedience. There's a difference between the two. Innovators are rule breakers, betul tak? Because kalau tidak, you cannot innovate. Because kalau you're an innovator, that means you're doing something different from what is already there. So you have to be a rule breaker. You cannot be within the paradigm, you will be outside the paradigm. So they must be able to tolerate people who want to become innovators. And pupuk dia, didik dia. So they become disruptors. Because in this age, you have to become a disruptor. So those of you who want to become what they call an innovator, become a disruptor in your university. Disrupt it enough, and if they don't like it, then you resign and leave, like me. I disrupted enough. In the end, I said, okay, it's not going to follow what I want. I got to get out. So I took optional retirement and I left and went into business. So, but try, because I was listening this morning to Dato' Aziz's presentation and we're having also this now tea break kind of thing. I dengar, it's the same old stories. 30-40 tahun punya cerita yang masa I jadi pensyarah, Sama kekangannya sama juga, tak ada beza. Dah 40 tahun dah, tak ada beza. There's been no paradigm shift. The only paradigm shift is that now you have to earn your income. Faham tak? It's different. At least masa zaman saya, you don't have to earn income. You just have to publish saja. Betul tak? Most important, publish in order to get promotion. Itu yang dia mau. Sekarang you have to publish also. Students must be happy also. Grades must be very high. Ranking must be taken care of. Income must also come. Matilah dah buat semua. Knockout. Tak boleh. Okay, then the other thing you have to learn to plan for long term. And I was talking to in UM kind of thing. I said those who want to become business or go into business kind of thing, they must be perseverant and they must be resilient. Jati diri itu mesti kena ada. Tak give up. Tak dengan senang katakan, tak payahlah. Jadi you must fight and fight and fight. You must go out there and sell and sell and sell. And you must be a good salesman. And selling is a skill. You must know the language that need to be talked. Dato' Aziz also talking about language. The language that need to talk in order to sell your product, to sell your services. You guna academic language, dia tak faham. Academic language, your peers faham lah. Your boss faham, your peers faham. Tapi the potential businessman, dia tak faham your academic punya lingo. You have to change it to become commercial lingo. How to change it to become commercial? You have to learn to use commercial lingo. The other thing is that the landscape, as I said to you, the business environment is changing every day. Not every year. Every day is changing. Siapa yang telah meneka Gaza will be bombed the way it's been bombed 7 weeks ago. Everybody was caught by surprise, right? And it changes the whole world. The geoeconomics have already changed. Betul tak? So in 7 weeks, we have a new scenario, global scenario. So those of us in business now, they think that, where do I go? You faham tak? That's life. That is life when you become a global business. What happens outside affects you inside. Now these are things that I found, very useful for me as in my journey of becoming a businessman, formal education, on-the-job experience, mentorship. I was fortunate. I had a lot of mentors in the university and outside the university. And I'm still, learning from people. And this mentor, it doesn't mean somebody yang lagi tua pada kita. Somebody lagi, kadang-kadang even a young child can mentor us because they got ideas. I talk to young people because sometimes their ideas are, wow, brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? Because they're creative. So the mentoring can come, because now I'm involved very much in technology. The mentoring for me now comes from young people, 30-something, who are basically digital natives. They can do so many things that I can't do. So I learn from them. I try my ideas with them. I have tea with them to listen to what they're saying. So they're actually mentoring me. I'm learning from them. Yeah, they may not know the business, but they know the technology very well. So now you, with your business experience, say that how can I go put these two together and make it into a business? So mentoring is very, very important. Networking, as I mentioned just now, extremely important in terms of network. The wider your network, the better it is. For those of you who want to go in great income, first create a network in your own state, network nationally, network regionally, network globally. You must have all those layers in order for you to be successful. Kalau tidak, you'll just be limited in terms of your success. You want to be a global player, you must have a global network. You want to be just a state player, you must have the state network. You want to be a national player, you must have a national network. You want to be a player regionally, regional network. Very important. Kalau tidak, you cannot go far. Other things, case studies, financial literacy. This is something that I was trained as, in molecular genetics. Mana ada finance and molecular genetics? Accounting and molecular genetics. Tada. I have to go and learn finance. I have to go and learn accounting. I got to learn the business and how to understand, how to read a balance sheet. What is a P&L? How do we actually understand the strength of a company, etc., and all that kind of thing. So financial literacy is extremely important. You don't have financial literacy, you wouldn't even know how to cost, the costing itself, and how to make your margin, and how to negotiate with somebody who wants your services, etc., kind of thing. Then, of course, you're talking about the soft skills side. That's also very, very important. So you must develop your soft skills as you go along. Many of us academics, we are very good at conversing with our own peers. But conversing with outside our sphere, our domain, non-academics domain, it requires a different kind of skill set, different language, different way of talking to them, etc., and all that kind of things. And if you're looking for business, you jangan tunjuk you pandai. Kalau you tunjuk you lagi pandai dan klien tu, dia kata buat apa kau ambil dia? Dia pandai sangat. Because you want the business. And the customer is right. You jangan pergi no, do it this way. This is the best way. My research show this way. No, sorry. Get the job first. So you must know priority. Priority dulu, dapat kerja, sign the contract, then now you become advised. I think you can do it better this way. Jangan upfront cakap, this better. Dia mana nak ambil you? Tak ambil you dah. Dia kata, too smart for me. He's not going to follow my instruction. Because businesses, when they want something, dalam dia punya planning, dia dah ada benda tu dah. Dan you datang sekarang nak ubah suaikan dia. Faham tak? Dia tak maulah because affect dia punya business. Tapi sekali dapat dah, you tahu dia faham dia business, you modify accordingly and persuade the person, I think this way is a better way. That persuasive power of engaging your client is a separate skill. You will make a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. But you will learn. From your mistakes, you will learn. For example, like people like me in the private sector, bila kita pergi KPT, pegawai yang junior tu, kita kena hormat dia. Ya tuan, ya encik, ya puan. Because dia ada kuasa. Dia enforcer. I can't go and tell, apa you tahu saya dulu kat Universiti Malaysia Profesor habis, keluarlah. So that knowing when to be humble, knowing when to, kau team, etc. kind of thing, very important. In business world, very important. Particularly talk about successful entrepreneurs. Successful entrepreneurs semua rasa dia pandai. Bila dia rasa you pandai, you pergi berhadapan dengan dia, you jangan rasa you lagi pandai pada dia. Faham tak? Then you challenging dia punya ego. Sebab dia dah berjaya di sana. You baru jadi consultant. You consult aja. You bukan buat kerja tu, saya buat kerja tu, faham tak? So you must understand the psychology of your potential client. So again, continuous, practice decision making, professional development plan. Have your own professional development plan to be successful. You must have a plan, just like business ada business plan. You must have your own professional business plan. How many of us plan for our own careers? Have our own professional business plan. We must have that. Otherwise, we will not be successful. Kalau kita tak tahu, kita tak ada sendiri punya, macam mana nak kena bantu online dengan business plan dia? Because they have a business plan. We all have business plans, right? So, how to ni kind of thing. Okay, so any questions? Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you to Prof. Dr. Ansari. So we shall take one or two questions from the audience.
It's either you fully understood or it was nothing.
Assalamualaikum Datuk.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, saya Haidi daripada Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Actually saya tertariklah dengan perkongsian yang disampaikan, terutama yang melibatkan AI tadi. So for you point of view lah kan, ada setengah mengatakan bahawa in term of AI tadi tu mengatakan bahawa AI ini boleh membunuh creativity dan juga quality sebab dia cepat dan kadang-kadang kita bila orang contoh pelajar kan mudah dapatkan maklumat tanpa berfikir dan sebagainya. So mungkin Datuk ada pandangan. Terima kasih.
Betul. This is something we discuss in UNESCO a lot. Ethical use of AI. Ya, dari segi bagaimana kita guna AI secara beretika. AI ini kita kena faham. Dia ada dia punya bias sendiri. Alright? Dia ada impact nilai budaya programmer dia. Okay, so programmer datang from a particular kind of budaya, dia punya nilainya berbeza pada nilai kita dan sebagainya. Semua tu akan dimasuk dalam programming, cara dia menjawab dan sebagainya. So we must be aware of the limits of AI that you're using, the tool that you're using. Yeah? Sebab ini adalah satu alat yang kita pakai saja. So kita kena tahu dia punya limit. Ya, seperti semua, like everything else, there's a limit on what you can do and what you cannot do. Tapi jangan kita kata tak nak guna AI. Macam ada kereta lah. Kalau the first person invented a car dan orang menggunakan kuda atau menggunakan lembu dan sebagainya, kerbau dan sebagainya, saya tak nak gunakan kereta. Because dia still the old paradigm. Dia kena masuk new paradigm. Kereta only very bad lah, that lah, but so same is here with AI. So AI sekarang kita ada setengah orang yang pro, setengah orang yang anti. As normal. Anything which is new, anything innovative, akan ada pro dan anti because you're challenging the paradigm. You're challenging what is a norm. Steve Berkel talks about the paradigms. If you want to bring a new product and be successful, you must challenge the prevailing paradigm. That's what Steve Jobs does. That's what Elon Musk does. Challenge the prevailing paradigm. But when you challenge it, you must also know the limits. Sam Altman, for example, the so-called guru of AI. Minggu sudah dia dibuang kerja kan sebagai CEO of ChatGPT. Why? Because he was pushing the limits of the technology. That the fear of it becoming, they call it AGI, that the artificial intelligence is taking over human intelligence. It's overtaking human intelligence. Faham tak? It's coming to that level di mana kita talk about singularity. Maksudnya AI akan menjadi lebih pintar daripada kita punya otak. It is coming there. It is coming there. So sebab tu Sam Altman himself at Congress, US Congress, he said that we must have now regulations to control AI. Macam dulu lah coding. Okay, I'm a molecular geneticist. We had cloning last time, right? They say, oh, you're going to clone a human, you're going to clone, so you have bioethics, right? What can be done, what cannot be done. So we now reached a stage where AI is moving so fast that very soon, probably next year, it is going to overtake the capability of the human brain. Is that what we want? So this is why we talk ethical use of AI and what's the limit yang boleh dibenarkan. Jadi bagi saya, bila PMX dalam bajetnya mengatakan kita akan peruntukkan 15 juta kepada UTM untuk menubuhkan makmal AI ataupun pusat AI dan sebagainya, tak cukup. When you think about the capability of what it's going to do, tak cukup. You need more than that. And not just one university. Semua universiti kena ada a share in that center. Supaya semua orang boleh be involved in it and bukan just UTM saja. And also industry should be involved in it. So we talk about triple helix must be involved in the AI center. And the sociologists should be involved with it. Anthropologists should be involved with it. Because kita kata sekarang, untuk budaya kita, masyarakat kita, dengan nilai-nilai kita dan sebagainya, kita harus ada kawalan terhadap penggunaan AI itu. Di mana dia hadnya, red line-nya di mana. Betul tak? That thing is not happening kat Malaysia lagi. Belum lagi. UNESCO are coming out with guidelines on how to use it for education, how to use it for industry, etc. So I think ini kena berlaku. Yeah, I hope I answered your question. Silakan.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, saya daripada Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, Pusat Pengurusan Penjanaan Pendapatan UKM, Jana UKM. Prof, boleh tunjuk tak slide yang ada 10 universiti benchmarking yang kita nak buat tu?
Yang mana yang contoh-contoh tadi?
Ya, yeah, betul.
Kena minta dia. Boleh? Dia pergi kat apa ni? Pergi kat slide.
Okay, I'm an economist. Of course, dengan limited income yang kita ada, kita tak boleh pergi semualah. So, kita nak choose lah antara 10-10 tu. Prof, Datuk, cadangkan yang mana kami boleh pergi untuk lihat yang dekat Malaysia tak ada lagi.
Lagi. Itu kan yang ni kah? Ataupun?
Bukan, yang 10, universiti.
Oh ya, satu lagi. Okay. Go up lagi. Atas lagi. Lagi.
Yang ni AI, and then ada tadi.
Ni?
Ya. Yeah.
Okay. Right, ni ya, 10 ni?
Ya, 10 ni. Yang mana top 2 yang Datuk cadangkan untuk universiti tempatan kita
pergi?
Okay,
saya bukan pakar dari segi keadaan, struktur, governance dan sebagainya bagi setiap universiti. Right? So, the story I can tell you is that bagi setiap satu yang mereka ni yang telah berjaya, dia telah lihat kekuatan dan kelemahan organisasi tersebut. So you must know your strength and weakness. Go back to the basic SWOT. But here you stop at SWO. Because from your strength and weakness, you know what the opportunities are. Alright? Jadi mereka ni, setiap satu menggunakan different kaedah, different approach. Yeah? So if your university is strong in a particular area, how do you leverage on that strength? Jadi jangan masuk dalam satu nak buat business dalam satu bidang di mana ada kelemahan. Because you're not going to be successful. Because global competition, right? You can only leverage on your strength. Contohnya, my university, we are strong in digital learning and teaching. So we leverage on digital learning and teaching. But to be in that space, we now know that AI is encroaching into learning and teaching. So we must embrace AI tools in order to be ahead of the curve. So same thing. So if your university is very good, let's say in medical devices, you bang on medical devices and become world-class player in medical devices. And how to get there, kan? How to get there. So in the industry. So each of them you tengok di sini, suka tak suka, every one of them had a few what they call common elements. Nombor satu, dia tengok dia punya kekuatan. Nombor dua, they all had a global mindset. Semua tengok global di situ. All global mindset. Yeah. Nombor tiga, they talk about collaboration. Because they tahu they don't have everything in-house. So we must collaborate with others yang boleh coverkan kita punya kelemahan. Dalam Islam kita call amal jama'i. Kenapa kita panggil amal jama'i? Kalau amal jama'i sebab ada kekuatan dan kelemahan. Dan kalau kita semua satu jamaah, kita pun satu jamaah, kita akan balancekan kekuatan dan kelemahan. So that's the third thing. Yeah, third thing is knowing the collaboration and network kind of thing. The fourth, if you look at that, at the end of the day, what do? They provide a service to the customer. Whether the customer is mainly students, then they make sure that it's student-centric. It's for industry, they make sure it's industry-centric, industry-directed. So it's very, very important. So you see that. Some of them are actually going for improve research capabilities, attract top what they call faculty and students around the world. So itu dia minat. Faham tak? That's what they want to go for. They're not going for industry per se, but they're going for students and faculty. So they get the faculty to come in, that kind of thing. So you think each of them are slightly different. So you see here, in terms of what they call Satyam, she goes for industry partnerships, innovation, entrepreneurship. That's what she's going for. So they focus there slightly different. Because she feels that IIT can do that kind of thing. which is true because they're very strong in terms of technology, kind of thing. So, moral of the story is ketahui kelemahan kita, ketahui kekuatan kita, kemudian bagaimana kita nak pergunakan kekuatan kita dengan adakan kolaborasi dengan institusi lain ke ataupun dengan industri dan sebagainya. Kemudian adakah ini produk ini ataupun perkhidmatan ini adalah untuk pasaran tempatan ataupun pasaran global. Itu penting. So that's how we decide to move forward. So these are just examples, give different examples on how to do it. Kalau tengok sini, even NUS, they went for innovative programs to attract top talent. That's it. Dia pergi program dia to attract the top talent. Because when they attract the top talent, this talent become part of them to do their R&D, right? Because they get their brains to do the R&D. So they go on that basis. Tapi you notice here, in all the examples I gave, only Anand Agarwal, he's the one who went for the commercial side. Yang lain semua tak pergi commercial side. I memang deliberate, I didn't go to commercial side because I think IPTA should concentrate on what they can do best. Commercial to me for IPTA, walaupun angan-angan tu ada, mak jenin tu ada, tapi I rasa your success of commercializing your intellectual property is going to be maybe 5%, 10%, and dia ada lag time, lag time. Tapi untuk tahun depan kena ada duit dah. How to get the money next year? How to generate income next year? Yeah. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Tadi sana. Yeah.
Hello, mic test. Thank you, Prof. Dato. I was really inspired. I was really amazed by what you were sharing on stage. So my name is CK. I'm a semester 7 student from Universiti Malaysia. So I'm really honored to be here, brought by my mentor, Associate Professor Dr. Jaria. And we are currently in our university with the support of our Entrepreneurship Center led by Dr. Nizam. We are forming a cooperation to build and construct a ecosystem and community to boost the entrepreneurship culture in our university. And I'm really lucky to have the opportunity to do my internship in Meranti, and with that opportunity, I can get a very broad overview of the whole landscape of entrepreneurship, would say ecosystem in Malaysia. And while we are building up the ecosystem of our own and also studying the ecosystem that exists in Malaysia, we've realized that there is still lacking of elements in that ecosystem to can really convert students from future experts to like technopreneurs, agropreneurs, or even like AI entrepreneurs. We found there's still lacking of elements in that ecosystem. So if we as students who want to improve that or make a change in that or to disrupt that, as what you say, I love that word, disruptions, what can we do to add elements into that ecosystem to make it better? And I believe we all agree that that could be a very important element to elevate the whole nation and to get ourselves out from the middle middle income trap. Yeah, I hope to get advice from you. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you for the question. It brought me back straight away to our previous Minister of Higher Education, YB Idris Yusof. I was having a big argument with him. I said, you talk about employability, tracing, etc. kind of thing. In other words, the sole purpose of the university is to create employees. It's not to create employers. The difference between employee mindset and employer mindset, faham tak? I said you should change the budaya to create wealth creators, to create potential employers and not employees. So these are people who create jobs and not people looking for jobs. Sekarang kita banyak employer tracer study. Baru semalam saya dengar berita. KPT akan adakan satu kursus 15 juta kan, dia bagi 15 juta sebab 27,000 graduan tak dapat kerja selepas 6 bulan selepas graduate. So you're still looking for, and your focus is still employability, not wealth creators. Right? Not everybody can be wealth creators. But you got 5% of your students who come out, 10% students come out are wealth creators. Now, why don't you have an indicator, KPT have an indicator for job creators? In a university, kalau you producekan 8,000 graduan, 20,000 graduan, 30,000 graduan, berapa ramai ada company sendiri yang sekarang employ others. If you pupuk yang tu, then you become more entrepreneur. But kalau kat universiti sekarang ada kursus bagaimana nak prepare CV, nak prepare resume, nak sediakan diri untuk interview, you're preparing what? Employee. You're not preparing employers. So prepare what they call the employees, like what you're saying and the kind of thing. You need a different, what they call a different kind of approach. So which means that you got to be exposed in the private sector. So you have to have mentors from the private sector to teach you, CK, this is what you should do. If you want to become a technology, what they call disruptor, you want to become a techno entrepreneur, this is what it takes to become a techno entrepreneur. And you go on that track because you have already that inkling you want to go on that track. But CK doesn't want to go on the track because that's too risky for him. So he says, I'll just prepare my CV and become an employee. You faham tak? So that choice must be given to the student. And we are not giving that choice to the student now. At the moment now, kita semua masuk satu track. Faham tak? Kita tak bagi that track. So in other words, for you, what Idris introduced was good. To you, to I. It was good. In other words, you get exposure in industry. But not industry jadi intern, jaga photocopying machine ke dan sebagainya. You have to go and become, really get in. And katakan you attach yourself for 6 months to the marketing company. Alright? 6 months marketing company. Why? Because you want to learn how they market the product, right? Because marketing is very important. You spend 3 months in the, what they call, in the sort of innovation lab. How are they innovating? You spend another 3 months with the CEO. How does the CEO think? CEO punya thinking. That is training to prepare a potential entrepreneur. But going for a course, going for a workshop, that kind of thing, run by professors who themselves have not run business, that is not entrepreneurship training. You have to go there, throw yourself in the deep end, learn how to swim. That's the way to become. All of us who've been there, we learn the hard way. Throw into deep end, learn the hard way. But that is unfortunate because there was nobody to train us. But now, with this income generation, I think universities should change their what they call the way they teach the students. Ask them to also get involved in the income generation. Sekarang kita force the faculty saja. So the students now to become income generators and mark them on that. Assess them on that. Because these are your potential entrepreneurs. So change the syllabus. And for example, you go to what they call Babson College in the US. They have got a session with what they call 10-year, 11-year-olds. 10 years, 11 years old. They give them money. I think they give them money, and tell them, all right, you're given what they call 6 months to start a business and run a business. And there are 5 of you. So one of you elect yourself for the CEO, one the CTO, one the CFO, one the what they call COO, and one the CMO. Right? All of you. So one is in charge of marketing, one in charge of finance, one in charge of operations, one in charge of After 6 months, how much money have you made? They can decide to sell lemonade drink. But they're on their own, you faham tak? You give them the seed money, they're on their own. And they're rewarded according to the income that they generate. And they get a grading according to what they generated. And then they also assess the others in the team. Oh, dia sebagai CTO, he did nothing at all. The marketing guy did everything, kind of thing. So in other words, you're training that 10, 11-year-old to start a micro business and, nano business and start doing it. In other words, they sell to the relatives, they sell to the friends, and trying to get money. Sekarang saya tengok cucu-cucu saya, they come with this card, minta PIBG, minta donation. See the difference? The difference, satu minta macam ni, satu I bagi you sedikit investment, you pergi dapat more money. So you're developing the entrepreneurship mindset. You understand what I'm trying to tell you or not? So if you're interested in it, you should now negotiate with the university saying that, I want to spend some time outside. Because I need to learn. So go for industrial training, go for that. And universities, private IPTA should come out lah dengan satu program di mana dia boleh pergi 6 bulan ke apa ke, attachment dan sebagainya, how you want to assess it dan sebagainya, is part of the industrial training. So now we call do industrial training. Sekarang apa? Entrepreneurship training. Faham tak? 6 months in the private sector. So industry stroke entrepreneurial training or whatever kind of thing, or business training. Now, I prepared to take a few to mentor to see how the life is difficult on the other side. it's not so easy. Yeah, you think it's easy, it's not so easy. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Dato. I would like to invite Mr. Azrul and Prof. Dr. Nitmiharan to present the honorary gift to Prof. Dato. Dr. Ansari. Just a friendly reminder for all Unilip exhibitors, please proceed to the lobby after this session. And then I would like to invite all participants to gather around the center for quick group photo session. Our evening session will begin around 2:15. Please return to this hall. 15. Please welcome to the center. Get together. Okay. Thank you to everyone to enjoy your lunch break.